woman, Anna May Wong, Clark Gable, and posters of films like Pink Flamingos, The Breakfast Club, Reservoir Dogs, and Heathers. The bartender, a tall blonde man with closely cropped hair, was playing Talking Heads, which he turned down when he saw that Sally was giving an interview. It was obvious that he was trying to listen. The Paradise barely got any sun, but the bartender was very tanned and well-built, like a soldier in a Technicolor film. Sally told me that the bar had been put in the late 40s and hadn't been done up since, except for the addition of more posters, headshots and movie stills, which cluttered the walls. Looking at them all crowded there, they seemed ready to suddenly spring into action, hundreds of voices and movements. "What do you know about the Paradise?" was one of her questions. "It's really old," I said, which I haphazardly and rightly guessed by quickly looking around me before drinking from the large glass of tepid Pepsi Sally had given me. She had one herself too, with a green and white straw, sipping carefully so as not to mess up her red lipstick. "That's right," she replied, "the oldest running cinema here. The film festival was founded by one of our former owners. All the movies were shown here. We aren't currently one of the cinemas used by the City Film Festival, but I hope that will change soon. You can see, he is a little worn." It took me a moment to realize the he was the Paradise. The apartment building I had grown up in had old, half-rotting, numbered cinema seats in the yard that had been found in a dump. Children liked to play on them, pretending they were at the movies. I told Sally this, trying to impress her, but she just smiled sadly. She got up and told me to leave my drink at the table, saying that Otto, I assumed he was the bartender, would clean it up. "The Paradise shows the latest films, the money-makers, but also classic Hollywood ones like It's a Wonderful Life, The Wild Bunch, The Great Escape, African Queen, or Wizard of Oz," Sally said. The kind of films in my mind you'd see snippets of as a kid when visiting your grandparents, the wood-panelled television set tuned all day to a golden oldies rerun channel, the kind of films synonymous with shag carpets, porcelain figurines, stale indoor cigarette smoke, and lukewarm cups of soda pop. I noticed that when Sally had mentioned the African Queen, her eyes lit up. She added that it was her favourite film. When the Paradise first opened, it showed silent films with Buster Keaton and Lon Chaney. She went on to tell me about the elderly ladies who didn't know how to read and how they would bring bags of sweets and feed them to children they asked to sit beside them, whispering the titles into their ears. She gave me a tour of the whole building, which I guessed meant that I had the job. I don't know why she hired me, but I later learned that Sally had mysterious ways of doing things. The Paradise was a Frankenstein's monster of a place. Over the years, rooms were added and rearranged, but with all the same old rotting pieces, the same red, white and gold paint retouched, another layer put on. There was a chandelier in the lobby, red carpeted floors, gold trim on the white walls, wide and narrow mirrors, which gave it the feeling of a funhouse, though they distracted from the oppression of the flats above, layer upon layer of furniture, crockery and lives. There was a ticket kiosk, a cavern built into the wall which also sold popcorn, sweets and Pepsi on draft. The kiosk housed the big old-fashioned popcorn maker, like a glass cage, which staff had to heat up and fill with kernels every morning. It was very important it was done before the first film of the day, said Sally, because the sound of the kernels popping was like many miniature explosions. There were grand, dusty parlour palms in golden pots, living off the weak light of the chandelier, copper racks holding Paradise programmes, which were made with a black and white photocopier. The cash tills were so old they looked like Victorian churches perched on the countertops, and the tickets were small Admit One types, pale pink with black lettering like tiny tattooed fingers, without the name of the movie on them.